we faced our criticism, both you and I remember early in my career.
Yeah.
You find out very, very quickly how harsh the reality can be of being at that highest level. And how difficult is that as a player when you are facing criticism?
Yeah, I mean, I never looked into it too much at the time because, as I said, we're in that bubble and you're most stressed about missing a meeting with Ted in about half an hour's time as opposed to reading what's being said about you. But once you have your summer break or what have you, you start to appreciate where you sit, you know, as far as the criticism go and whether it's mates texting you to, you know, back then when mental health wasn't an issue, I was like, are you okay? You know, it was like, yeah, mate, I'm fine. Why should I be worried or something? But, you know, it is at times it is a brutal environment, but at the same time, I'd never moan about it because I would never for one moment not want to be an All Black. So if this is what I've got to pay the price for, then this is what I've got to pay the price for. And I know that every other man in this country wants to be there too. So it's not something I ever moaned about because I just thought this is part of it. And, you know, if I'm not living up to it, I'm not living up to it. So, yeah.
You've made a documentary. Documentary's been made about, you know, the massive moment in your career. I'm not going to talk about whitebait and all those sorts of things and all that getting your way to that point. Everyone knows about the kick. It's been told. But what about, did it feel like a bit of redemption from 12 months on, from that criticism you got the year earlier, where the opportunity comes out of nowhere? Is that what it felt like for you? You know what? You should value me as a rugby player because when I go out there and I talk to anyone about you, it's 100% effort. No, but that's to maximise your ability, right?
Yeah.
And so did it feel like vindication in some way?
Yeah, a little bit, because I guess, like, I know I'd had criticism my whole career, but the criticism after Hong Kong was, I guess, firstly, he doesn't deserve to be an All Black, and secondly, he's a choker. And those are two things that, you know, like, I'm not the most talented, never been the most talented person, but I worked hard to get where I got to be an All Black and thought, you know what, apart from Desi, I think I am the next best 10 in this country for a long period of time. I should be here. Yep. And so that's, you know, that's why I felt I should have been there. And when people start saying it never deserves to be an All Black, it's sort of cut you. And then the choker thing, you know, that really hurt me because I guess I'd prided myself on, you know, plenty of times when kicks need to go over, kicks went over. And the thing about the Hong Kong thing that still irks me is, from a personal point of view, is I missed the goal kick, sort of 15 in from touch, 20 odd out, that would have buried the game anyway. So I know everyone harps on about the missed touch and all the rest of it, but it's that goal kick that, you know, I guess gutted me the most. And yeah, I guess the choker label, it was a tough one to sit with me for 12 months until, I guess, the World Cup. And then, it sort of put to bed a fair bit of that, I guess.
Because I know how hard that is, and I went through something similar. The fact in '93, I went well in my first test, and then the next week I had to kick against England, and I couldn't throw the thing over. You know, and we lose at Twickenham, and that stayed with me. And a year later, an incident against the Wallabies happened as well, right? So I lose two of my first three test matches, you know, and it's really challenging to come back from that. And so, in terms of giving you, I suppose, that satisfaction, you know, you deserve that because that, you know, when you're getting to that point in your career and you're trying to work out, okay, you know, where am I at? What did that mean for you after that? Because that's critical for me, is the fact you get that satisfaction. What did it mean post that for you for the rest of your career?
I guess, not just my career goal, for my life, I could walk around the streets of New Zealand and it was getting to a point where I felt, and I love New Zealand, like anyone knows me knows, I would not want to live anywhere else in the world. But it was getting to a point where, did I actually want to have to wear a hoodie and a hat every time I went to the supermarket, or if I went for a beer somewhere, did I want to be tucked away further in the corner and try and avoid anyone, or, you know, and it was getting to that point. So it just opened up my life again and allowed me to not have to have a hoodie on in summer and go to a supermarket, go to a pub in peace, you know. So that was the big thing for me. And you know, like people always say, oh, what does it mean to you? You know, obviously opened up a lot of doors and this and that. And I was like, well, the most important thing is it got me a way of life back again and allowed me to have a bit of freedom in New Zealand again, really.
Well, I mean, you're talking about performing on the biggest stage, so all of a sudden there's a reputation that comes with that, though. So when people come calling, and they did, and you start going, you go to England, play for Bath, and then you move to Japan, did that come with you in terms of that expectation, the fact that, hold on, you've been able to perform on the biggest stage?
Yes. Expectations
now, we want you to do that for us as a club team.
Yeah, and you know, obviously within 10 days of the World Cup final, I was on a plane to England to play for Bath 4 or 5 days later. And the English, like, there's no hiding from the fact that I did not set the house on fire in England. And, you know, the first sort of 2 or 3 weeks were great. I think I was still just riding a confidence high, and we were in Europe games, and as you know, over there, the Europe competition is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I was up for that. And, you know, we were beating Montpellier and the big teams in France, and we were flying. And then 2 weeks later, you know, it's December in England. I'm at Worcester on a Friday night. I can't feel my toes. And the rot sets in, and it pretty much set in for like about 12 months, and I'm questioning what I'm doing there, and suddenly I'm taking shortcuts at training and taking shortcuts as far as your discipline goes. And in the end, the English time, yeah, they thought they were getting this player, and they didn't get the best of me, and you know, I've been told they didn't give themselves the best of me. It was a funny environment to walk into, but yeah. It carried a whole lot of that, but then when you go to Japan again, you're carrying it, and you know, just things worked out for me in Japan. You know, at several different clubs, so you know, it was great times. But yeah.
So at the end of your career now, you look back, and do you regard yourself as a good tourist then? Is the fact that when you get on, I mean, because this is one of the challenges in life, and
yeah.
as a rugby player, as a professional athlete, is that you pack your bags.
Yeah.
There could be a different destination from week to week, from season to season.
Yeah.
So when you got to Japan, had you learnt how to spend life on the road?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but life on the road and going to a foreign club are two very different things, and I think you've got to, and that's why I think I fit into Japan so well, because some of the other boys who haven't been anywhere else in the world walk straight into Japan and think, well, this isn't New Zealand, and I learnt that lesson in Bath in England, and that put me in good stead. I had a lot of people tell me when you go to Japan, just almost zip your mouth and just do the Japanese thing. And, you know, like I can't completely zip my mouth when it comes to...
You're a first five.
Yeah, when it comes to talking rugby and how to do it sort of our way. But I learned how to sort of manage all of that with the Japanese people, and had the time of my life up there and at different clubs and at different points of the career. So, yeah, but going to the Bath was a great way to sort of say, right, you've left New Zealand now and you've got to move on from that, and you're doing it their way now. So
your experience of Japan... What did you learn about their rugby and the potential ceiling of their rugby? And we look now, so many of our players, so many of our top players are deciding to go there and take their sabbaticals or opportunities.
Yep.
You look at that, is that a future that we should be looking at in terms of our connection with Japan, and we should be growing it more and more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Japanese fans, for starters, just have an amazing fascination with the All Blacks. A lot of it's around the haka, a lot of it's around the black jersey. They just... That's what they want to talk about. And then there's the thing now, like when I first started going up there as a rugby player, they wanted you there for 11 months of the year. 7 of those were pre-season training, and 4 or 5 was the actual season. And now it's getting to a point where, you know, guys are going up like Bodie who can go up, right, I'm here for 5 months. And I think that's going to filter through to whatever level of player wants to go up there, where you don't have to be up there the whole time, but go up there, get 5 or 6 months, fill your boots financially, and then come back, play Super or play NPC. And I think the way we're going, it's financially, it's a big way, I guess, New Zealand rugby can compete with everyone else over in the Northern Hemisphere as far as their players go and keeping them.